I've dragged you out of bed early this morning, folks, to do something that I've been itching to do since the weather first warmed up in the early spring. There's a little reservoir close to my house. It's a bit of a hike up here, but it's a beautiful old lake. It's silty, it's weedy, it looks gorgeous, and it's home to some fantastic fish, in particular tench and some old reservoir bream. So there's a little bit of bait gone in. I've fed the swim already and it's time to kick off. Hopefully we're in for a little treat this morning. A few bites will make this one absolutely magic. Before I actually drop in and start, I'm just going to show you what I've fed this morning. I wanted to get here early and put a little bit of bait in, because for fish like tench and bream, they sometimes take a bit of time to gather. Now, I've gone down the ground bait route. I've got some of the new bagger mix, which is really fishy and full of crush pellets, as well as my old ever faithful F1 dark. I've mixed it with a super sweet liquid. Tench, bream, any sort of silverfish love sweetness. And I've got in this mix some casters, a few of the SK2 pellets that are soaked, a little bit of sweet corn, and a few chopped worms as well. And all I've fed to kick off the swim are 4 pots of this ground bait, nice and loose like that. I'm just sort of sand castling them in, so that'll come out of the pot loose and then all flatten out on the bottom. And the beauty of feeding it like that here is the bottom's very soft. This lake's been here for forever and the bottom's full of silt, so by feeding it loose like that, all that ground bait and food will lay on top of the silt. I've got a nice bed set and hopefully there's an odd bream or tench grubbing about on it already. Can't wait to get started. Come on, we're going in. Definitely the most exciting part of the day. First drop in. I've been itching to come up here for quite a while now, so this is the moment of truth. I'm going to go in with half a worm on the hook. I've got a big dendrobina, cut it in half and hooked it through the broken bit. Could catch anything on that. Tench, bream, perch, roach, even a carp. And I'm going to put this rig right on top of where I put that bait. It's probably been half an hour, 40 minutes or so since I fed it now. And I'm just going to try and be nice and accurate and lower that rig in right on top of where I potted them pots full of ground bait. And I literally have no idea if we're going to get a bite, how long it's going to take, and when it does go under, it could be anything. Strap yourselves in. We might be here a while. No indications straight away. Not necessarily a bad thing. You can probably see I'm using a front rest just to hold everything nice and still. Fishing for quality fish here. Ideally big bream or tench. So I want that hook bait of mine and all my pole rig to be nice and static and still right on top of the bait. Almost like same sort of presentation you'd get if you were feeder fishing. And having that rest in front of you. Put the pole in between your legs in a little strap. Front of it on that bar, you can hold it really nice and still. It's a great little tool to have if you're doing some patient pole fishing. Oh, little indication then. Definitely just had a little indication. I'm actually on my phone. Oh, yes, we've got one. Whoa, what's that? Whoa, God, it's pulling. That's a big fish. Don't know what it is. It's actually first drop in. Probably been sat there for 5 minutes or 6 minutes. And it's juddering its head about like a big tench. That's what I'm putting my money on. Now there's weed absolutely everywhere, so I've got to try and keep it out of that. Oh, come on, he's going into some weed now. Get out of there, get out of there. Excuse me if I'm out of shot, I just need to stand up to try and keep him up. Oh, I can't. Don't want to lose the first one of the day. I'm just going to keep him up out there as much as I can. Feels like a really good fish. I've got quite strong gear on. I've got 6 pound mainline and a 5 pound hook length on. Size 14 hook. And I'm in a right parrot cage here. But that's the beauty of these old lakes. Oh, it's a proper challenge. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, can feel it all grating on the weed. Might not actually be a bad thing if he gets a bit of weed on his nose. Oh, it's a massive tench. Massive tench. I'm going to try and get him up out there. There's quite a bit of weed close in. It's a proper fish. That's what we've come for. That's what we've got up early for. First chuck. Right, it's tiring. Come on, let's have a look at you. Oh, I just don't want to get his head up. Look at him. That is a belting fish. I've got his head up now. Just want to try and keep it up, keep him out of that weed, and bring him over the net. I'm just taking a section off at a time. Come on, Tinker. Yes. Look at that. That's a good one, isn't it, to start off with? And that is exactly what we've come for, folks. An early summer tench. That is fat as a, I don't know what, but it's fat. Beautiful fish. I've got to show you this. He really wanted that worm. Wow. That, folks, is why we got up early and came to this magical little lake. I'm just gonna, oh, is it a female or a male? What is it, John?
It's a tench, mate.
I know it's a tench. Look at that, gang. That is the coolest fish I've caught this year so far. Beautiful little lake, nice simple tactics, early morning, on a cracking day. Just shows you don't need a lot of bait, you don't need a lot of time, but if you come to the right place you can catch some wicked fish. You are one cool dude. Thank you, mate. You made me day. Second drop in. I can't change anything, can I, after that start? I've got the same half a worm on. I'm going to drop it back in exactly the same spot, and hopefully exactly the same will happen again. But I can't guarantee that. Just shows the importance though, that ground bait going in nice and loose. It's obviously created a bed and the fish have come and settled on it. And we're only pleasure fishing, so you don't have to rush to get in, but I think that little bit of a gap between feeding it, that half an hour, 45 minutes, put some bait in, and then just chill out, set the rest of your kit up, have a brew and just let a few fish gather. I think that's really important because it's shallow. These are big old wise fish, so they're going to be spooky if you're banging about. And I just feel like feeding that loose ground bait, nice 4 or 5 pots of it, big area for them to gather on. And there's certainly an odd one come in. And just dropped it right in on the same place. Half a dendrobina worm on a 14 Super LWG hook, and I've got about 6 inches of line laid on the bottom, so it's nice and still and static, and then big fish can come in, suck it up in amongst all that ground bait and move off. And if you saw that last bite, It was absolutely beautiful. The float lifted up a little bit. I were actually on my phone, and then it just slowly slid away to the left. It were a typical tench bite. Beauty. The only thing that could have made it better is if I had a peacock quill on. See if we can let the same happen again. I'm all slimed up and wet now, but I really don't mind. Oh, little indicate. That's going to go. It's going to go. Definitely a fish. Oh, that's a letdown. But it is a sign I probably need to refeed. That were a little bobby bite, and I thought, this is it. That's a tench or a big bream nearby. But no, one of these. And that is definitely a sign to top that swim back up. So I'm going to make a little bowl of the ground bait mix with a few freshly chopped worms in and just pot it in nice and accurately. Put some ground bait here. Chop a few fresh worms. I'm going to actually put them in the ground bait bowl and chop them in the mix itself. And the beauty of doing that is it's so fresh. All the juice from the worms goes in the mix and the worms are wriggling like mad. You're not going to get any fresher chopped worms than when you actually do it in the mix. A few micro pellets as well. I'm just going to make a little ball, sort of like a one-handed size ball. I'm going to pot it in very, very accurately and go in over the top. I love this sort of fishing where you're just targeting a handful of big fish that fight hard and are tricky to catch, because all the little important things like accuracy and having the right kit on and presentation, they all come together nicely, and when you do actually hook one you feel like you've achieved something. So I've plopped that ball in. I can even see that sweetener, the super sweet in it, just pimpling and fizzing. That's why I love that stuff in my ground bait. You'll often find me using it. I'm going to go back in with that big chunk of dendrobina on again. We caught the first one on. I'm going to put that on and a couple of red maggots as well. Nice target bait. Dendrobina. 2 red maggots. That's a tenchy bait, isn't it? If ever there's been one. I'm going to plop this right on top of, if I don't tangle my rig on the way out, right on top of where I've put that ball in. I can actually see it fizzing, and on a calm day like this, that's the beauty of having that super sweet in your mix. It's very soluble and it comes out the ground bait and pimples in the water. So you can see exactly where it is, and also when fish come in and disturb it, it suddenly starts pimpling again. So it's another little sign on a calm day that there's fish there. Now you might be asking, why initially did I feed the ground bait in a sandcastle so it's loose, and why when am I topping up am I squeezing it into a ball? And the reason is, when I'm topping this up, I'm really trying to focus them fish into a tight little area. All that bait I fed at the start's all spread out to bring them in and help them graze, but when I'm replacing that and topping them up, I'm really trying to pinpoint the fish to where my hook bait is. So that little hard ball with lots of worms in is a focus point, and I can put my rig right on top of it, and if there's not many fish about, hopefully that's the point where they'll go down, feed, and I can put my hook bait there for them to take. There we go. Knew we'd get another one. That is change of hook bait and first drop back in with something different. We're in. Just shows you shouldn't be too single-minded. 3 red maggots, same 14 hook, feels like another tench. You can tell because they jag and bang when you hook them. Great bite, so exciting. Big fish in a tricky situation when there's not many of them. Don't get any better for me. If I had to come pleasure fishing, this is definitely what I'd do. Just don't, this one's just trying to lure me into a bit of a false sense of security, I think. He's not pulling quite as hard as, oh, there we go, look. He's off. That's a white prototype elastic. It's sort of a 12 rating. It's actually hollow and got some liquid in it. It's quite powerful. Any fishing where there's a lot of snags and a lot of weed, my best advice is to keep the pole up, keep the pressure on, and just try and tire the fish out in the lake, away from any cover. This one's just heading for a bit of weed now. Just trying to guide him away. It's definitely a tench. I just saw his tail waving at me then. Great fun. Great fun. Look at that. It's nearly ready. Another good fish. He didn't fight as hard to start with, but here he comes. Come on, can see me 3 maggots dangling out your mouth. Hey! They're absolutely beautiful. Look at that. You know what? He's not far off as big as the first one. Three maggots. Oh, sorry, Paul. Just pop you there. There she is, sports fans. Tinker number 2. Little changing up bait, couple of top ups with that ground bait, few micro pellets and a little bit of chopped worm in there. Definitely brought them back in. And I think when you're on such a shallow lake like this, when you've had that disturbance of these fighting, jagging around, the fish back off, and you've just got to be patient, reset that trap, and it doesn't take too long before the next one comes along. Look at that. Oh, beautiful fish. So that disturbance of that fish, like I said, obviously they pull hard, it's shallow, fish can spook easily, they're going to hear and see it dashing about. Just feel like I need to reset the peg. So nice little nugget, that ground bait again, F1 dark and the bagger mix, so it's quite a fishy, smelly ground bait. I'm not squeezing it too hard, but I'm nipping it into a ball, and I'm just going to reset it. Nice little nugget, just to give the fish a little area of focus to come back in on. And I'll probably have to wait another, 15 minutes, 20 minutes for the next fish to come in, but it's a beautiful way of fishing. And when it does go under, it really gets the old ticker pumping. And I'll just tell you, when I ship out this time, you can see my rig's absolutely covered in Tench slime. I'm going to clear all that off, because the last thing I want with these wary fish is them being able to see all the slime on the line. The actual rig that I'm using today, it's very durable, but it's not too heavy in terms of weight. It's a 0.25 of a gram float. It's only 3 feet, 3.5 feet deep where we're fishing. It's a bobby wire float that's got quite a thick tip on it, so I can see it all the way out there, and it also won't pull under when I've got a big hook bait on. Half a worm, 3 maggots, piece of sweet corn, and I'm leaving about 1.5 centimetres of bristle showing so that I can read them line bites. I don't want to be striking if it's bobbing around when fish are bumping into the line. The actual mainline's £6, it's 0.17 engage, and then the hook length is 8 inches long and it's 0.15 engager, size 14 LWG, super barbless hook, and I've just got 4 number 10 shot in a little string 8 inches above the hook. And above the float you might see I've got a number 8 microcube back shot, and that just stabilizes everything when I'm sat waiting. I always like a back shot if I'm doing some patient sort of fishing. It just holds that float still, stops any skim or wind moving it around, and when you're sat waiting for 1 or 2 bites off big fish like we are today, I think that's really, really important. Just lowered that in right on top of the bait, back into the spray bar, this little rest to hold it nice and still, and let's see if we can get number 3. When I'm actually fishing out there, that back shot that I mentioned, I've got my spray bar set up so the back shot's just under the water, so my float's in the water, my back shot's just under, and that means the line between the float and the shot's all nice and stable underneath the surface, and then I've got a tight line between the back shot and the pole tip, so it leaves plenty of loose line that's nice and stable between the float and the shot, or the microcube in this case, and then I've got that tight line between the microcube and my pole tip, so when the float goes under I can pick up and it's on straight away. So it's a nice balance of keeping the line tight to hit the bites, but also keeping that float stable and in place. I've just had a couple of little roach then, so I'm going to come off the maggots. I'm going to put a piece of corn on. Just try a piece of sweet corn. See if we can pick out something bigger. Just because I don't want to be getting my maggots smashed to pieces by them little fish. I'm actually going to pick a small piece of corn out. Feel like Tench or Bream suck up a smaller piece of corn a lot easier than a big one. Got a little piece of corn, still on that same 14 hook. See if that'll trick one. Sweet corn, Tench love sweet corn now and big Bream, come on. Probably catch a little roach now. There we go, go on the sweet corn. Wow, what is that? Is a massive Bream. That is huge, look at the size of that. Oh my God. Oh. Did you see it splash then when I hooked it? That is huge. I'm really going to take my time with this. Got that white elastic. It's just wallowing about. Totally different to the Tench. Again, different hook bait. Just shows the importance of just changing it up. And fish have definitely been there all the time. I've had odd indications. This is a big, big Bream. Thought we were just going to catch Tench, but it's wrapped around his, oh no, he's wrapped around his peck. There it is. Look at that for a fish. Wow. That is a proper old snotty reservoir Bream. That's probably as old as me, that is. Real dark old fish. Unbelievable that they're in 3 and a bit foot of water in it. Just sat on that bait. It's come to that top up, another nugget of ground bait, a few worms, a little bit of corn, and a few casters and micro pellets in it. What a cool fish, probably 4 or 5 pounds. Still a little bit knobbly from spawning, but again, a little bit of patience, right tactics, very simple, not a lot of bait, but definitely worth getting up early in the morning for. What a cool few hours fishing.